For our dog, you're going to need a 350 with a good long tail of perhaps about 5 fingers. I'm using mocha brown, and you want to make a long loop, a long flower petal loop, about the span of my hand. So I'm going to twist that, and I'm going to take hold of the nozzle and that knot, and I'm going to pass it through. So that's just going to secure that in place. Give your 350 a squeeze, and then make a smaller flower petal loop of about 4 to 5 fingers. Okay, and give that a twist. Give your balloon a squeeze, and then with the rest, we're going to grab hold of that tail and just wrap it around here. We're going to find that nozzle, and we're going to just tie those two ends together. Okay, that's just going to keep everything in place for us. So this is what you've got. Take a 260 with a good long tail, and I'm using chocolate brown, and twist off a bubble that's about 2 to 3 fingers, and then make a loop, okay, a soft loop. And these are going to be our dog's ears. So you want to make the ears in proportion to your dog's head. So I'm going to make this loop. It's about, again, the span of my hand, okay? And at this point, you can take this knot here that you made, pull on that, and just pinch twist that first bubble into that ear there, okay? So that's what you've got. Take the bubbles from your dog's head and just grasp the tail and pull that 260 through, okay? So this is what you've got. And then you want to squeeze out as much of the air as you can from this 260. And whilst you're doing that, just twist, okay? So I'm creating an uninflated portion of 260 between this part of the balloon and here. So the 260 that goes across here is going to be a twisted bit of 260, an uninflated bit, okay? And I want to just push the balloon up a little bit into that head so it just holds a little bit. And then at this point, I want to twist off another 2 to 3 finger bubble, 3 finger bubble, okay? And then pinch twist that, okay? So the bubble is going to be roughly the same size as this one. And then make another loop to match the ears on this side. So I like to just put the dog's ears up this way. I find this the easiest way to get similarly sized ears, okay? And then we can wrap that around the pinch twist. We can trim off the end of this and just deflate the 260, and then take that end, pass it back through the dog's head, and just take that end and wrap it round that first pinch twist that we made, and then you can just let go. So you're not even tying that off, okay? We can rearrange our dog's ears. And if you want, we can just give them a little bit of shaping. So just grasp the balloon and just cut and just cut. And that's just going to give them a very slight curve outwards. So this is what you've got. Next, take your 160, and I've got a couple of fingers of tail there, and take the nozzle and the knot and just wrap that into the dog's neck, okay? And what you want to do is just give your 160 a bit of a squeeze and a stretch, and then just wrap it around the dog's body, and then wrap that 160 into the neck. Okay, and then at this point we can twist off a small arm. Okay, so that's perhaps a 6-inch bubble, and then we want to create another arm that is the same sort of size. So just twist off another bubble here and wrap that into the neck again. At this point you can break this off, but save this bit. So just push the air to the end and tie that off, and that's going to be our dog's tail. Okay, so we can just massage that and give that a bit of shaping. Okay, so take a black 260. You can use a scrap if you've got a good long scrap, but I've used a full one and I've just cut off about 3 inches off the end, and I've inflated a sort of a 3-finger bubble. Take your dog's head and just pass this, the end of the 260 through the dog's nose, pull that down, okay, so it's nestling in that gap there, and you want to have quite a lot of tension on this, and then pull that strap back up and around the dog's nose. Okay. Wrap it around a few times, and then what I like to do is I actually tie it at that point, because otherwise it can have a tendency to just ping off at the wrong time, and then you can trim this bit off. Now at this point you've got a perfectly serviceable dog, and you just need to draw a simple face. There are times when I put a pinch twist in the back here, but if you're just doing a very quick sculpture, it doesn't particularly need it. So if you're not in a line work situation and you're wanting to embellish this sculpture a little bit more, then there are a few elements that we can add. And you're going to need 2 5-inch rounds, and these are inflated to about 4 fingers, and I've tied them with a very soft knot, which means I've not pulled the knot really tightly. I can just roll that knot along the neck just to give myself a little bit of room to work in that balloon. And what I want to do is I want to just squeeze the air up into the neck area and twist off a bubble. And that bubble's about 3 fingers or so. Take this other bubble that you've created, take the knot, grab hold of that knot and grab it round and just twist that. So you're making a pinch twist. And again, take hold of that and just tie it in a knot there. That's going to give you a little foot that isn't going to come undone. And make another one of these. To position your dog's feet, just slip your 160 forward and just take that section there and just slip it underneath the 160. And you want to do that with both of them so that they're at the base of this 160, and then just pull those underneath the dog's body. And that just squares off the bottom part of the sculpture. And I like this sculpture to have its head sort of tilted over to one side. If you decide you don't like that, then you can put a pinch twist in the back just to keep that head in position. But I do just find it quite cute that it's just over to one side. Next, we're going to make a small flower for our dog to hold. So just take a 160 in a colour of your choice. I'm using goldenrod, and make a very small loop twist. So this is a couple of fingers. Take hold of that knot and nozzle and just pass it through the other side. And I'm just going to make a total of 5 small loop twists. Okay. Give the balloon another little squeeze and make a 3rd bubble. And another bubble. Rearrange those, and then you can break this off and tie the knot, and just wrap that end through and around, and then just arrange your flower petals. Okay, so you've got a small 5-petal flower. Then just take a scrap of, I've used 260 in lime green, make a very small bubble at the end, and then just pull that through and wrap around. Okay, so that's the centre of our flower. With the little bit that's left, just level off the end so you've got a nice clean cut edge, And then I like to just cut little strips along here. So I just take my scissors and cut part way up the stem, and I'll do that 2 or 3 times. Okay, and then I'll go this way as well, go up. Okay, so you've just created a little frilly bit on the end. Take your dog and just pull that flower into that junction there, the twist with his paws. Just wrap your little frilly stem round and bring that down. If you want to give your dog a tail, you can take that bit of 160 that we had left, and I just like to wrap that into both those bubbles at the back here. Okay, so I just wrap the end in and then position the dog's tail, wherever I want it to go. So for this particular sculpture, I'm going to keep the face very simple, and I'm going to draw 2 ovals, 2 large ovals. Okay, and then I'm going to kind of square these off at the bottom. So they look rather like church windows, if you like. And I'm just going to try and make sure that these are as close to the same size as I can make them. And then just fill these in with your black pen. Okay, so you've got 2 sort of squared off ovals, squared off at the bottom. And then for the eyebrows, I just like to do a line down and then an arc. And then with an Edding 750 white paint pen, I'm just going to put a large dot in each eye, followed by a smaller dot. So for this design, you can do a more detailed face, but this is the face I use for line work if I'm doing the more simplified version of this model.